Hi, good morning. Can everybody please turn on their cameras po? Hi, how are you? Hello po.
Good morning.
Good morning, kamusta po kayo?
Ayos naman.
Nice naman. So, tanongin muna natin si Kuya Brian. Kuya Brian, ano po ang expectations niyo today sa ating online peer mentoring?
Ngayon kasi nagtatayo kami ng software development kami. So, ang ano ko lang, ma-refresh na ako dun sa mga information security content.
Okay. Tama-tama, Kuya Brian, kasi ang pag-uusapan natin ngayon ay information security principle. So, ito talaga yung, kasi meron po tayong hindi CSIT, meron tayong MASCO, meron tayong music student. So, itong pag-uusapan po natin today is talagang the very basics po of information security. Okay po, 10:05 na po. Okay, may I ask everyone po to please turn on their camera. We will have our group picture po. Okay, ayan. Thank you. So, before I begin, I'm going to read yung guidelines po natin for today. So, good morning and welcome. Today is our Information Security Online Peer Mentoring. Today is October 18, 2020, Sunday. Our objective rather for today is to learn about the information security principles. Our time frame is like what is happening now. We have our introduction or kamustahan, followed by the information security principles, and after my presentation, we will have our discussion and our Q&A. So our guidelines for today's session. Again, please be on time. We will start at exactly 10 a.m. So it is now 10:07. Please observe proper etiquette. Be respectful of one another. Open your camera and unmute your audio when instructed. You may turn off your video if your connection is low. And lastly, kindly chat or raise your hand if you have any questions. Ayan po. So, we're going to start. Okay. So, hi again po. So, yan. Information security. Ay, okay. So I would like to introduce myself first. Hi, I am your mentor. My name is Athena Abe, but you can call me Atcha. I am a third year computer science student at St. Paul University, Manila. Okay, our objectives for today, we have 6. First, we're going to talk about the information cycle, followed by the system security, security awareness, security procedures. We will talk about the types of threats, risks, and attacks. And lastly, about computer security. Please do inform me po if ever mabilis po yung masyado po ako mabilis kasi or ano. So, can we proceed po? Okay na po. Okay, next. Okay, let's start with the information cycle. So, there are 4 parts in an information cycle. We have input, process, storage, and output. So in our visualization here, so to make it much simpler or to make it easier to comprehend, let's say we're going to post something on Facebook. So we're going to start. So since we all know, when we post, we go to our timeline and then we click on write post, right? So if we're going to here in the data input, if we want to post, let's say, a video on Facebook, so we're going to select our video file, and put it and upload it on Facebook. So uh, choosing the file to upload is part of data input. So next is the process. So the process here in posting our video is the uploading process. So as you can see in the presentation slide, under the process, we have two arrows linked to stored data. So we have an upward arrow and a downward arrow. That is mainly because, let's say, your internet connection is slow or suddenly your internet connection got cut off. The purpose or the role of stored data is, let's say your internet connection is cut off, that video is still there. So when your internet connection is back, it can still continue to upload. That is why it has two arrows. Next, after the uploading process of our video is done, it will now be ready to post. That is why there is an output. Now, as you can see in the slide, there is an upward arrow to new document, going back to data input, and back to document. So what I can give an example is the feature of Facebook. We have memories feature, right? So we have it there in the Facebook feature. We have memories. We can look back on our old posts from a year ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago. So the purpose of these uh, parts here in the information cycle is that we can retrieve or get back to our post. So let's give it a scenario. We have posted a video. So like Facebook, it can notify us like, hey, you uploaded this video a year ago or 5 years ago. So that is the process. So again, we have four parts in the information cycle. We have input, process, storage, and output. Okay, next. So next, let's talk about system security. It is defined as the protection of assets from unauthorized access from both from within and external. So let's first define security. So security, we have three main points here I highlighted. We have reducing risk or harm, weekly, weak link, and series of trade-offs. So first, I'm going to ask you based on what you know, what when it comes to security, what's the first thing that you think of? Guys, feel free to let everyone know what you think when it comes to security. Ayan na, kita na kayo. Ano po, and wala pong wrong answers. So, and
Of
what do
course,
you, ha?
first thing na we think when it comes to security is your password.
Okay, password, thank you. Who else? Security. There are no wrong answers here. Let's go, guys. Anyone? Oh, sabi niya, Joemar says antivirus. Okay, that's right. And Stella says, protect your files. Wait, hindi ko nakita yon. Protect your files. Wala, hindi ko makita. Ang lag ko, guys. Wait lang po. Sabi niya, protect your files from unauthorized people. Yes, that is correct. Thank you. Anyone else? Anyone else, when it comes to security, what is the first thing that you think of? Anyone? Security. Okay. Sino po? If you're shy to talk, you can chat it. Ayun. Thank you, Sir Raffy. Data privacy. Tama po. Who else po? Hi, RJ. Welcome. Ikaw, do you have an answer? What is security?
Security?
Yeah.
Kakadating ko lang. Based sa pagkakaintindi ko, marami kasing types na ng security. Pero may dalawang pinaka minsan na naisip ko, yung authentication and authorization.
Ayun. Okay. Thank you, RJ. Tama yun. Okay. Wala na po. Nahihiya na sila. Okay, bubo na tayo. Ganito po talaga ako. Nagpaparecite po talaga ako. Ang purpose po kasi talaga ng peer mentoring is hindi lang from my end. Kaya po tayo, peer mentoring po kasi is about sharing each other's knowledge. So, hindi ko po alam lahat. So, feel free to give me din yung knowledge niyo po. Share it to everyone. Okay? Next na po tayo. Okay. So, thank you po sa mga nag-share ng kanilang answers. So, now we're going to talk, hindi pa pala ako tapos. Ayan. So, ising-sing ko po pala muna yung under ng security. So, let's start with reducing risk or harm. So, based on my prior research earlier this morning, security, nowadays kasi security is not that evident or strong, especially um, given our situation, everything now is online, so everything is vulnerable. So whatever we do to try to secure our data and information is basically our own responsibility. And even if we are really securing our information, we all know that there are hackers out there that are really trying to get your information, especially those organizations or companies that have a large information. So, yun. So, reducing risk or harm. So, one thing that I can tell about reducing risk or harm is, from what I have said, it is our responsibility on how we protect our data, on how we share our data to other people. So we cannot trust everybody when it comes to giving our information. So we have to know their credentials, where they're coming from, who are they connected to. So I'm sorry, maingay po ang aking pusa. So, we shouldn't always just give our information easily. So, next we have weak link. So, security is also considered or defined as a weak link because in the CSIT field, we have this term social engineering. So, an easier term for us to comprehend this is, it is also somewhat similar to budol-budol. So, alam po natin yan, budol-budol is also, like social engineering, it is also a way for us to, it is also a way for us to get people's private information. So, like social engineering, lalo na kapag you're the type of person who's very, very nice, very open, and you tell everything, even personal things to other people, you are easily vulnerable in that person who is trying to use social engineering to you. So, wait, before I move on, do you guys understand? Okay, thank you. Hi, wait. Okay. Hi, John. So, welcome po.
Ay,
Okay,
ma'am. Ay, good morning,
hello.
ma'am. Sorry po, late
Good morning.
kasi.
Okay lang. Okay, so, next is, after weak link, we have series of trade-offs. So, an easier example that I can give you, because the definition of trade-offs in information security on the internet is it is more technical. So, the example that I can give you is, let's say, we all know Google Drive, right? Google Drive. Okay, ayan. Most of us, especially the students, use Google Drive. So, let's use Google Drive as an example for series of trade-offs. So, as a student, trade-offs is used in Google Drive because we exchange information, we exchange data, we share files, we upload files. So, wait lang po guys, sorry. Series of trade-offs, Google Drive. Okay, Google Drive. So, in Google Drive, we all have this standard capacity of up to 15 gigabytes, right? So, we should always, if you guys know, there are news popping up na there are videos that are getting leaked from Google Drive. Private information, private videos, etc. So, in terms of security, Google Drive is, I can say, is also not safe because if we want to upload something, siguro the tip that I can give you is, if it is really private, you send the information, and if the information is received by the other end, you delete it right away. something like that. That is one thing I can give you, because in terms of security, in the series of trade-offs, we should be careful on how we, on what platform we exchange information. So how about you guys? What do you think are other applications of or software in terms of trade-offs other than Google Drive? What example can you give, guys? Nakita na kayo. What example can you give other than Google Drive? We have WeTransfer. If you guys are familiar with WeTransfer, that is also a site to exchange file. Okay, Mega, Dropbox. Yes. Okay. Yon. Thank you, guys. Okay. Very good kay John. Okay, next. Okay. So, now we're going to talk about security awareness. So, when it comes to security awareness, it is a continuous process of making valuable resources secure. So, from the word continuous process. So it is not only a one-time process on how you keep safe your data or information, especially if you will upload it online. So the first act in securing system resources is awareness. So like what we are having here, we are having security awareness, and I am teaching you about information security, which is one of the basic principles that we have to know in terms of securing our privacy, our data. And the last point here is understand the appropriate use of resources, relevance of security, the individual's role, and responsibility. So in terms of resources, we all know there are many different security applications. We have different intrusion detection and prevention systems. We also have different firewalls in terms of relevance of security. How strong is this application or platform that we are going to use? Is it worth our money to invest on something that can keep safe our information? And the individual's role. So as like I have said before, it is we cannot easily trust everyone that we are giving our information to. That is why learning the individual's role, we should know their credentials, if this person is connected to other organizations, or if this person is doesn't keep any secrets. So we have to really be careful in giving information. Or let's say, for example, uh, we have a lot of friends on Facebook, so it is best to filter out, to really check if your friends on Facebook, if we can trust that person. So that is some examples that we can relate to. And responsibility. So in terms of security awareness, the main point here is ourselves. It is our responsibility on how we give our information, how we protect it, how we continuously secure our resources. So, another term here for security awareness is authorization. Always make sure that the resources, the relevance, the role and responsibility is authorized and cannot be easily threatened. So, next. Okay. Okay, next is security procedures. So, there are two types of security procedures. We have servers and clients. We have intrusion detection system, as what I have mentioned a while ago. So intrusion detection system is more on organizations, environment, goals, policies, and resources. So let's say you want to build a small organization or a startup company, you should know your environment, your goals or objectives, your policies, and resources. So this intrusion detection system, application, or device can help you with those goals. So another way to protect your information are firewalls. So I have here, okay. So this is my output last year, second year, when I was in second year in our information security and assurance. So this is from icsalabs.com. You can go to this website. So in here, we are told to select products or devices that can really secure your data. We have here applications such as firewall. So please comment down below if you have other suggestions when it comes to firewall or devices. We also have here SAM4 technology. SAM4 is known. Okay, thank you, Brian. We have Cloudflare, yes. SAM4 is known for one of the known firewalls, SAM4. We have SAM4. We also have, so not everything is a application. So we have here F5 networks. So I won't go into details. I will just show you what a firewall in an application and in a device looks like. So we have here Sophos, we have here Fortinet, we have here Sonic. So this is the hardware version of a firewall. Okay. Next. Okay. Now we're going to move on to the types of threats, risks, and no, I forgot, sorry. The next part is communication channel. Firewalls, sorry. So an added information in firewalls is defined as it monitors incoming and outgoing traffic. It stands as a barrier between a trusted and untrusted network, also known as the internet. So we all know how a firewall, what the firewall role is. So when we have, let's say, antivirus, McAfee, it notifies us that, hey, this file is not safe, it has a virus. Especially most of us are guilty. We use torrent, so we want the free things in life. So when we use torrent, not everything there is safe. We all know that. So our firewall, the firewall that we use, is there to notify us that this file or this application, this site is not safe or is not secure. Next part is communication channel. So we have encryption and authentication. So in encryption, an example for encryption is our accounts, our Facebook accounts, email accounts. There we have here in encryption, there is a required when we put our password. It says here you need 8 characters, you need an uppercase, it has a number. So the reason for that is because it is easily, your passwords can be easily taken or hacked if you put easy or simple passwords like 123 or your name or your birthday. That is why most of applications today has that specific value that you need to input in your password. So next is authentication. So like in email and on other accounts, we now have a 2-factor, maybe 3-factor authentication. So aside from putting your password, let's say I will log in my laptop, and then my phone will notify me if you are really logging if I am really logging in my laptop, will I allow it? Or sometimes they put a code. Let's say, for example, Shopee or other applications, they send a code first to ensure that it is really you who is logging in or entering into that account. So how are you guys? Are you still okay? Okay? Okay. Next. Okay. So let's now go into detail. Okay. Now we're going to talk about the types of threats, risks, and attacks. Now we're going to define each. So starting with threat, it is a potential occurrence that can have an undesired effect on the system. So wait, I have here a reference to further define threat. Okay. Given the definition on the slide, so threat is, it is not an action yet. So it is getting there. So a threat as defined here according to our reference today is geeksforgeeks.com. That is one of my references that I use. So a threat, according to geeksforgeeks.com, is a threat can be anything that can take advantage of a vulnerability to breach security and negatively alter or erase, harm object or objects of interest. So a person or a system, if it can easily see, identify, or detect that you are vulnerable to your information, and they know that they can easily get your information, let's say your bank account. So I have told a while ago that budol budol is really relevant here in the Philippines, in our country. So in budol budol, they just call you on landline like, hey ma'am, your account is something something, and then we just need this following information, something like that. So that is the starting point of a threat. If they know that you can easily be, you are a gullible person, gullible means uto-uto in Tagalog, so that is just the starting point of a threat. And like what I have said, that method, budol-budol, is also known as social engineering. So another example that is relevant aside from calling is email or fake websites. So you have to make sure that the domain of the email is a reliable email. So if you you are checking or inputting any personal information such as your bank accounts, you check on the email first if it is at BDO or BPI. If it is at Google or something, don't reply to it. Instantly report it or tag it as spam so it won't happen again to you. So I know people are not really checking their emails. So we are expecting 42 participants today and we only have 9. So we need to check our emails actually because we should start I know we have a lot of emails but we should start filtering out important emails, and in order to avoid any threats, attacks, or any malicious um, emails from other sources. So next is risk. It is defined as the measure of the possibility of security breaches and the severity of damage. So, from what I can tell, the risk here is how secure are we? Do we use firewall? Do we really have passwords that are safe, that are encrypted? Do we use two-factor authentication? Because if not, there is a high risk that people can get our information. There is a high chance of security breach, and there is a high chance that our data can be taken away, can be stolen or damaged. So that is why I have inserted a picture here na nagkakamot po siya ng ulo. So alamin po natin if if on how we handle our security, is there a risk? So we always have to identify the factors, not only including the resources, the relevance of the software, the people included, ourselves. Other parts of risk also include environmental factors. So, like I have said before, not all firewalls are software applications. We also have hardware or devices. So let's say the firewall is corrupted, or there is the firewall, let's say, is vulnerable to water or fire. So that is one part of risk, that it can easily be damaged. So you have to keep safe your physical entities when it comes to security. And the last is attack. So it is an action of a malicious intruder that exploits vulnerabilities of the system to cause a threat to occur. So to easily differentiate threat, risk, and attack. So threat is upcoming. Risk is you have to think in advance if it is really, if our security is strong or weak. And the last here is attack. It is more on the um, in ongoing or upcoming. It is now the action, so it is happening. So threat is about to happen. Risk is, is it really gonna happen? And attack is the action in itself. So as you can see here, I have put a clip art of a man putting the credit card of someone else. So that is the attack happening on itself. So another definition from Geeks for Geeks, when it comes to software attacks, we have here viruses, worms, etc. So now I will be going to be more specific on the types of threats, risk, and attacks. So before I move on to the next slide, are you guys okay? Or is it information overload? Please let me know. Is it okay? Okay. So next, we're gonna move on to the next. Now we're going to talk about, okay, the types of threats, starting with interruption. Interruption is defined as an asset of the system becomes lost, unavailable, or unusable. So, from the word itself, interruption, so let's say you're going to, an example that I can give is, let's say I'm going to think of another example. Let's say you're on a video conference, then you're talking to someone, having a meeting online, especially in this pandemic, we cannot do it face to face. So let's say you're meeting via Skype, and then your internet connection is good, and then you're talking to the person clearly, and then suddenly it gets interrupted. Your call is closed, or someone is in the call that you don't know. So that is an example of a threat in terms of interruption. So from what is defined here, the asset becomes lost, unavailable, or unusable. So for example, again, going back to the Google Drive example, you notice that your file is missing. So well, that is also a part of interruption. Next is interception. It is defined as some unauthorized party has gained access to an asset. So like I have said, somewhat similar to interruption, we all, I don't know if you know this, there is a news that, I don't know if it is on a politician's conference, but someone has intercepted in their call. So that person is unauthorized, however, they have gotten into their Zoom call. Have you guys know that news? Yes, okay. So, someone that is unauthorized was able to get inside a video conference. So, that is one of interception. Next, we have here is modification. So, an authorized party not only accesses but tampers. Yeah, Zoom bomb. Yeah. So, modification tampers with an asset. So, interception is linked to modification, but this is more on a worst case because it tampers, meaning in Tagalog, nangingialam, or may ginagawa na hindi kaaya-aya. Uh, Yon, going back again to the example, Zoom Meet, they have entered, that is interception. So once the intruder has entered the conference, the intruder suddenly unmutes all of the participants inside. So that action, unmuting everyone, turning off their camera, is considered modification. So next we have fabrication. Fabrication is defined as an authorized party fabricate counterfeit objects on a computing system. To make this much simpler to understand, let's say Messenger or any messaging apps. We have Viber, something like that. So fabrication, the role of fabrication here is to alter a message. Let's say I want to tell you guys that we will start our meeting at 10 a.m. Fabrication, the role of fabrication is to fabricate what my message is about. So instead of telling you, since instead of you guys are about to receive my message that we will start at 10 a.m., and a a threat here is that it will fabricate my message. It will say, "Hey guys, we will start at 10 p.m." So that is an example of fabrication. It counterfeits objects like messages, data into a system. Okay. Next. Now we're going to talk about the threats to hardware. So like I have mentioned ago, the firewall. We also have devices about hardware. So interruption. We have here in interruption denial of service. So denial of service is an example here is shutting down your computers uh, unnoticeably or turning off other devices. That is a denial of service. It denies your access to your own computer or to your own device. Next, another type of interruption, we have destruction. Like I have said, we also have to consider environmental factors that can affect our systems or our information. So we need to put our physical devices, our peripherals, in a much safer space, considering it can overheat. So put it in a cooler place, something like that. Destruction, if you think where you put it is a fire hazard, you have to protect it in a different place. Okay, so next we have here is interception. Interception is defined as a theft or unauthorized product owned by other vendors. So in here, it is not only a person, like I have said, it can be a program or a computing system itself that can threaten or damage your hardware. So let's say it cannot compute the instruction that you want it to do. So it will do a different task. Let's say you want to update this firewall. Instead of updating it, your system cannot understand it. It might delete your data. So something like that. It can happen. So we need to really make sure that everything is updated and safe. So next. Next is threats to software. So about software, we have interruption, we have deletion of data, we also have configuration management is required. So we always have to continuously keep track, update our system if it is updated to the latest firewall version, so like that, in order to avoid interruption. Next, about threats to software, we have interception. There is software theft. This attack includes unauthorized copying of software. So we all are guilty. We want a software, let's say, what software? Let's say Adobe softwares. We all want a free software. So we can be guilty of this. So we get cracks. So we don't notice it, but at the end of the day, we are also thefts because we get cracked versions of a software. So if you can avoid doing this because this is not a good thing to do, please please pay for this software. But if you are broke, as we all are, you just be careful in downloading software, okay? Yeah. Okay, I also understand why we get cracks because we cannot pay for it now. So next is we have modification. So now I'm going into detail the different types of threats in terms of modification that can alter or change your data. Yes, find open source software. Thank you, Atcha. Now we're going to start with Trojan horse. I guess everyone is familiar with the concept of Trojan horse, right? It came from a Greek mythology wherein um, the Romans hid in this horse and then they attacked. So that is also, in terms of threats here into software, the role of a Trojan horse. So to further define it, I'm going to use a source again. Okay. To further define the definition of a Trojan horse, according to geeks.com, it is actually different from viruses or worms because it, like the Trojan horse, it conceals themselves inside the software that seem legitimate. And when that software is executed, they will do their task of either stealing information or any other purpose for which they are designed. They often they often provide backdoor gateway for malicious programs or malevolent users to enter your system and steal your valuable data without your knowledge and permission. So that is the difference of Trojan horse. Now, moving on, we have virus. We all know what a virus is, and the example that I can give, like I have said, is torrent downloads. So next, let's move on to trapdoor. So trapdoor, what is trapdoor? Okay, so according to techwala.com, a computer trapdoor, also known as backdoor, it provides a secret or at least undocumented method of gaining access to an application. So comparing it to Trojan horse, it is concealed. It is also a backdoor, but trapdoor is far more different as it is an undocumented method of gaining access to an application. So to further elaborate, pumiyak ako. To further elaborate, programmers write trapdoors into programs for a variety of reasons. So, um, about trapdoors, I can give an example, is troubleshooting a software to illegal access. So, what else can I do to make it simpler? So, yeah. So it is also, thank you. So it is also similar to the cleaner. So you think that it is a cleaner for your system, but the purpose of that cleaner is to tamper with your information. So next we have here is information leaks. So some people really love to post or almost share their entire life on social media. So information leaks can easily occur when you give out every information, especially personal information about you. So in terms of software, all kinds of platforms, we have their TikTok. TikTok is famous, and some famous TikTok videos require you to put your personal information like where you're from, how old are you, what is your height. So information leaks can, there's a high chance that your information can leak not only on TikTok but on other social media platforms, and it can be used against you. So next, after threats to software, now we have threats to data. So in terms of data, interruption is the loss of data or the deletion of data. We have your availability. How available is your data? Where do you expose your data? Where do you present it? Where do you input it? We also have here include key loss or encryption. So it is not always sure or certain that if your data is encrypted, it is already safe. I am a computer science student, we learned that there are different types of encryption. So you have to make sure that your encryption that you are using is really safe because people, especially those who are knowledgeable in hacking, can easily tamper or remove your data. Next is interception, confidentiality. So now we all know what social engineering is, also similar to budol budol. So now we should practice and take into consideration that not all information, especially the confidential information, should be given out to other people, especially if they are not authorized persons. Next we have is integrity. In terms of integrity, how your data should always be consistent. If your data is not consistent or is weak, it can easily be modified or altered. So connecting it to the integrity, we have your fabrication. It can include replay attack or other terms include you can be hacked more than once. You can be threatened more than once because you are not keeping track of the information or the data that you are trying to safekeep. And like I have mentioned, internet banking can be fabricated. It can be fabricated through a phone call. It can be fabricated through a website, or it can be fabricated via an email address. Okay, next, we're going to talk about the types of attacks. So this is the last part. So we have threats, risk, and now types of attacks. There are two different attacks. We have passive attacks and active attacks. So in passive attacks, an example here is eavesdropping or ayan, in Tagalog, yung mga chismosa dyan. Ayan. Eavesdropping is considered as a passive attack. So unconsciously, you are trying to safe keep your data. However, a person who plans to threaten you or plans to steal your information, uh, can easily get it without you knowing, just by hearing it or knowing it from other persons. So it is also linked to social engineering. So social engineering, it is not only that it can be from a person that you know. Social engineering can occur from that person telling it to the other person that is also considered as eavesdropping. Pwede kang pagchismisan na, ay, si ganito, may plano siya gumawa ng ganitong company or ganitong negosyo, gagawa sila ng website o kaya gagawa sila ng online shop sa Shopee. Paano ba natin lalamangan to, yung mga ganon. So that is a passive attack. Also, second part is, instead of eavesdropping, some people tend to monitor you, tend to monitor your actions, tend to monitor your plans, tend to monitor your goals, or what you intend to put out there. So you should always be mindful on how you present your information. So if you want to showcase something, whether it may be you want to give out a database, an application, a website, a business, you need to monitor um, on how much information that you can give. Not everything they have to know, only the the basic information as much as possible. And then next we have active attacks. We have here masquerade. One entity pretends to be a different. So masquerade, given the term masquerade, masks. So it is unauthorized. So it is like incognito per se. So it pretends to be something that they are not. Next we have replay. It is a passive capture of information in its retransmission. So it is also considered unauthorized. We have here next is modification of messages. So like fabrication, legitimate messages is altered. So another example here is a system. A system can I don't know if you guys are familiar with this. We There is a feature that people can people can make you say things that you don't want to say. I don't know this term, but there is a software that can, if they know how you speak, they can edit it, or they can make you. Ang hirap mag-ano, no? Ang hirap mag-English. So, sabihin na lang po natin na, kung wari, let's say, a famous person. We all know that there in social media, famous persons can be, they can be, they are vulnerable to threats actually, because people are editing their statements into something that they did not say. So let's say, example for me, let's say I in our session today I said that uh, let's say I'm talking about information security, and then if they know how I speak, my intonation, how I pronounce words, people can alter it and tell and make a video of me speaking that I said that I thought about web development, but in reality I thought about information security. Yes, thank you, Ate Thea. So there are really voice actors, speeches. There are different uh, systems or applications for that. Especially now, we another example is facial recognition. So facial recognition is also one way to modify not only messages but your identity. So people are putting faces on other videos that is not really them, or it is not, they didn't really do that, something like that. So next is again denial of service. Another definition, it prevents normal use of resources. Like I have mentioned, people can deny your own service or can easily shut down your phone, a program, or your connection. So that is a denial of service. So we're almost at the end, so don't worry. Okay, hang on. Wait, okay, next is we're going to talk about computer security. So computer security, so we're done with system security. We have here, I have put here a guard. So you can visually represent it. Computer security, so we have here our firewalls, it is protected. So computer security is all about protection. It is to protect information, hardware, and software from the following: from unauthorized use and damage, and from sabotage, and, like I have said, natural disasters or environmental factors. Next, so here are the measures to protect computer security. So we have restricting access to both the hardware locations, physical access, and into the system itself over the network using firewalls. So we have to make sure that our access is only for the administrators, for the authorized persons, and the system itself should be uh, continuously maintained. It should be maintained by using firewalls, either software or hardware. Next bullet, implementing a plan to prevent break-ins. So that is why I have already defined risk. So nakita niyo po na there is an image of a man scratching his head. So we have to always think ahead. If the information that we're trying to protect, are we really protecting it well? Is there other factors that we have to consider, whether it may be a person, uh, place, or a software itself. Next is changing passwords frequently. So this is something that we need to really practice. I am guilty because we are all busy and I cannot always change my passwords frequently. But just a reminder, we should change our passwords frequently and as much as possible, create passwords that is not linked or related to your personal information. Next is backing up copies. This is also really important when it comes to uh, keeping your data. So if your data is tampered, at least you have a backup. Not only one, not only two, but a lot of backup. Yes, thank you, Sir Brian. So you can also use password manager to keep track. And as you can also notice that let's say Google notifies you. Do you want to save your password? So if you don't to really make sure that your information is safe, I suggest that you select not now. So your password will not be saved. And I know, I also understand people are like me. I am also having a problem with my memory. So we cannot always remember. And it is not advisable that you write your passwords in a paper or on your phone. As much as possible, you always have to uh, remind your self of your passwords. Yeah, Google Authenticator is one example. Thank you, guys. So, like I have said, backup copies, make up a copy on your memory card, compact disk, if people are still using compact disk, or hard drive, or on the cloud. As much as possible, make sure that the cloud where you're uploading it is safe. And next is here, using antivirus software. So, there are different types of antivirus software that you can explore. Uh, to really safekeep your data. Next, we have encrypting data to frustrate interception. So, like I've said, there are different types of encryptions, and as a CS student, I have noticed and learned that not all encryptions are really secured. So, we have to really identify which encryption data or tool we should use. Next is anticipating disasters. So, we should make a disaster recovery plan. What if like this in the pandemic, considering it is sudden, so we have to plan. So I hope not, but what if it happened again? I hope not, but we need to think advance because everything is now remote, and like students, also professionals, also people who are working, suddenly transition into remote. So we have to make sure that our software can be remotely accessed even at the comfort of their homes. So last is hiring trustworthy employees. Like I have said, we always have to check their credentials, where they are connected, what are their previous occupations. So we cannot easily just trust people based on how we interpret them. So we have to think objectively if this person is if that person you can really trust. Okay, so here is the last slide. So to end my presentation, I have added this. It is computer ethics for computer professionals. So now you are learning the principles, the basic information security principles with me. Now, to really apply what I have taught you, we always have to know computer ethics in order to secure our information because we always cannot avoid threats, risk, and security. Uh, Kahit gaano pa po natin sinecure, there is always a possibility that our data can be easily tampered with or stolen. So here are some of the things that we have to do. First is competence. So computer professionals keep up with the latest knowledge in their field and perform services only in their area of competence. So me being a computer science student, I may not know everything. And even if I graduate, it is my responsibility to still be competent and always research, update my knowledge, about the latest firewalls, the latest softwares, the different types of threats. We always, even if you are not in the CSIT field, this is all actually an advantage for uh, people like you, because you now know that you have to be competent in securing your data, and you always have to be open in knowing that there are different firewalls, different security applications that we have to consider. Next is responsibility. It is our responsibility to be loyal to the people that gave our trust. So it is not always technical. It is actually a moral lesson to, there is a term actually na itong pinag-usapan natin na to hanggang dito lang. So that term, that analogy is our responsibility. When people tell us something that is personal, that is private, and gives our full trust, and is open to us to tell that information to us, it is our responsibility to protect it at all costs. Okay, so because if we don't, it is um, our fault, and we really need to be careful in how we take care of people's trust, because once the trust is gone, it cannot be taken back. Okay, next is integrity. So integrity, as what I have defined a while ago, is we always have to be consistent on our opinions based on facts. So a while ago, I have told you I have also research from different sources. So these are, one of my reliable sources is Geeks for Geeks, and these are the facts, and they are impartial in their judgment. So integrity also considers that we should not always rely on one source. We should always look out for different sources, especially now there is always fake news everywhere. So we should not always just read about the headline or the title of the article. We should always search if this information that is shown is really factual, authenticated, or legitimate. Okay. So that ends my presentation. So now we're going to, yay! Now we're going to go with the discussion. Everyone, please turn on your cameras. Okay, ayan na. Okay, like the previous session that we had last Sunday, people who have already joined with me on web development already know this. Magpapa-recite po ako. Yes! So, to really know if you have learned, please feel free to unmute your mic and tell us what you have learned in today's session. If you are shy, you can chat it down below. Okay. Okay pa ba kayo dyan? Okay. You can chat it, what you have learned, what you have realized, or you can tell us your experiences, or if you are um, an expert in information security, please share us what you know, or if you want to give us tips, or if there are any firewall suggestions that we can explore, or what are the common things that we need to practice. Go, guys. I'll wait. Hello?
Ma'am. Opo, ma'am.
Hi po, Sir John. Hello?
Yes, ma'am. Good morning.
Good morning.
Ah,
Huwag ka mag-ma'am. Atcha na lang. Do you have a
ay,
camera?
na-i-intercept yung ano. Pero
Okay.
meron yan.
May
Naka-open.
camera?
Yes po. Naka-open.
Naka-open po yung camera?
Yes, ma'am.
Wala, bakit di kita makita? Asan ka? Hello? Hello? Hala, mahina ba internet ko? Oh no! Ayan. Where are you? Hello?
Ayan, ma'am. Hello, ma'am. Naririnig po ako. Hello.
Wait lang po.
Hello.
Parang yung internet ko po ata ay nagluloko. Okay, nasan ka? Hello?
Ayan, ma'am. Meron. Hello.
Black
Hello.
lang po, kuya. Pero sige, go ahead. You can tell us what you want to share po.
Yun lang, ma'am. Share ko lang. Be mindful. Kasi, yun nga, madaming bad actors using na yung technologies. Lahat online na. Kahit sa school online din. So, be mindful sa mga kiniklink na link sa mga binibisitang web pages. Yun, ma'am. Mga
Okay, thank you, John. Okay, sino pa po? Oh, wag niyo akong kayo isa-isa ko.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, RJ! Okay, hi, RJ. Okay, ano yung gusto mo share?
Natutunan ko yung sa mga fireware, pati sa encryption, kung kailangan may mga capital letter and numbers para medyo secure yung mga authentication mo. At saka
Okay.
yung sa credential at saka availability time. Sa mga hacker kasi from time to time nag-update sila ng mga another virus o mga phishing sites para may mabiktim silang mga user, and also sa mga sa mga wala pang masyadong ideya sa mga security. Yun lang.
Okay, thank you, RJ.
Thank you po.
Okay,
Thank you po.
sure. Sino pa po? Ano yung kung may kwento kayo or may experiences about information security?
Hello, can you hear me?
Hello. Hi. Okay, hello.
So, I mainly use a smartphone and my laptop as my device. When it comes to my smartphone, whenever I'm not using an app or whenever I'm not using an app, nire-remove ko yung access nila sa certain like sa storage, internet access nila. Binubuksan ko na sila kapag gagamitin ko na siya. And also sa laptop or sa computer nyo, lagi nyo make sure na dapat naka-update yung mga antivirus software nyo or firewall. Para kasi, gaya sabi ni RJ, di ba, laging updated yung mga virus din. So, dapat lagi kayo nag-update ng antivirus.
Okay, thank you. Sino pa po?
Isa pa po pala, pwedeng i-recommend ko na rin yung Chrome, yung tinatawag na Brave. Brave kasi isa sa pinaka security na application para iwas na rin sa mga ads, tsaka i-block yung mga untrusted websites. Yun lang din.
Okay. Sige, RJ, kindly chat it din para nila. Thank you. Yan. Yan, brave. Brave daw. Sino pa po? Pwede niyo siyang i-chat, guys. Babasahin ko na lang. I'll wait. Okay. So, ako ba? Any newfound learnings or prior knowledge that you want to share to us today?
Sorry, another thing, when it comes to browser, I think the safest browser right now, I'm not really sure kasi hindi naman talaga ako CS student or software engineering, kung ano mo tawag doon. I use my Firefox, and in sa Firefox meron siyang containers na kasi 'di ba may issue yung Facebook na like sa Facebook may issue siya na kapag na-open yung Facebook mo or naka-sign ka sa Facebook, they can monitor or track the others websites that you visit. So sa Firefox kapag naka-container ka, sa container lang 'yon, kung ano lang ba like Facebook, Instagram, pwede mo siya ilagay sa isang container. Tapos, hindi niya ma-track or ma-access or ma-monitor yung ibang websites na binivisit.
Okay, thank you. Ayun daw guys, there's a feature daw sa Firefox na containers. Okay. Sino pa po? Oh, Ayan na, magtatawag na ba ako? Ayan na, simulan natin. Ang pinakauna dito is nakikita nyo naman, si, ah, Bryan. Si Ate
And so,
Thea. Ay, and si Sir Bryan.
ayun,
Hello, do you
so,
have a camera po?
teka,
Okay.
shucks.
Ayan, okay.
Ayan,
Hello?
hello, yan. So, actually kanina, meron akong nakita ng mga ibang service provider ng firewalls. Kasi naghahanap kami for web application firewall para sa
Okay.
website na binibuild na. So, yun, ah, totoo lang, marami akong nakita na iba pang vendors. Kasi normally, ang alam ko lang, Cloudflare, tapos ano pa ba, Fortinet, mga ganun.
Mm-hmm.
Yun, tsaka ano lang, tip lang kasi, di ba, nabanggit mo na nagtuturo ka ng software development. So, sa mga newbie, always, consider yung security palagi ng software. So, first and foremost, pag magbe-build ka, dapat yun yung isa sa mga consideration mo, lalo na sa mga database operations, queries. So, hindi yung basta makapag-query lang, makapaglabas ka ng result mo, makapag-process ka ng data mo. So, yun, palagi dapat kailangan yung code mo, code level secure yun. Yun,
Okay.
yun na yung
Thank you, Sir Bryan. Ayan, guys. Lalo na yung mga CS students na nag-aaral ngayon ng SQL or ng database. So, don't worry because next Sunday po, I will teach about database systems and SQL. So, if di po kayo registered, please email me. Yan, sasend ko po sa inyo yung link. Okay, next. Thank you, Kuya Brian. Next is Joemar Buen. Hello, Joemar!
Hello po.
Ayan. Asan ka?
Hello.
Yan. Okay, hello.
Ano po yan?
Ano po yan? Nasaan camera mo?
Ano?
Ayan. Oh, alam mo na
Anong
gagawin
gagawin?
mo. Oh, ano?
Anong gagawin?
Ikaw, ano gusto mo? Ano yung natutunan mo? Or may gusto kang experience na i-share? Kahit ano, about information security.
Wala, i-share ko lang yung dati kong computer na ransomware dati kasi nag-download ako ng software sa torrent tapos
Ayan na, Tore.
yun.
Oh,
Tapos wala akong antivirus kasi pinatay ko yun, basta yun inoff ko. Tapos yun, na-encrypt niya yung mga files ko yun. Sabay nag-reformat na lang ako.
ayan.
Ayun
Ayan
lang.
yung masaklap format. Okay. Ngayon, alam mo na gagawin mo. Okay, thank you, Jomar. Next. Okay na si John. Okay na si isa pang John. Yeah, Sir Raffy. Hi, Sir Raffy. Guys, hindi po ito si Sir Raffy Tulpo po, no? Ito si Sir Raffy Repiso. Hi, Sir Raffy. Welcome back po. Pwede niyo pong i-chat ang iyong sharing po. Kung nandyan ka pa po, pakipag-galaw po ang baso. Thank you. Sir Raffy. Ay, sige, baka nagtatype pa si Sir Raffy. Next. Okay na si RJ. Stella, pwede mo i-chat. Ayan na, Ate Thea. Hi, Ate Thea. O, yan na, share na si Ate Thea. Ay, Stella, you can chat or unmute your mic or show your video kung may gusto ka i-share. Ayan. Ano muna tayo ka, Ate Thea? Hi, Ate Thea.
Hi. So medyo enthusiast ako about cybersecurity. So nag-research na ako ahead of time. So yung natutunan ko is no information is useless information. And hinay-hinay lang sa pag-post ng full name sa mga social media sites like LinkedIn, Facebook. Kasi medyo madaling i-stalk yung mga tao. I mean, I could cite an example right now, pero baka mag-freak out yung mga viewers natin dito. Pero yun, tapos kapag pupunta sa mga websites, siguraduhin may HTTPS dun sa dulo. Um, I guess, yun lang. Careful with your information. Yun lang. Kasi,
Okay.
ang dali nilang i-stalk in fairness.
Ay, alam na, Ate Thea.
Pero sila, in fairness, medyo madali silang i-stalk based sa information na binigay nila. Kasi, ayoko i-cite tong si Mr. Bryan. Sorry. Okay lang ba, sorry.
Okay.
Hindi kasi sinabi niya, magde-develop sila ng software. Tapos, dun sa example, eto, nag-chat siya. Siyempre, nakita ko yung full name niya. Bryan, hindi naman full name, Bryan Eduria. First name, last name. So, what you have to do is just search in LinkedIn kasi most likely lahat may LinkedIn profile. Tapos, search. In fairness, I'm not sure kung ikaw to. Kung ninarrow down natin yung probability of this being you based on the information na binigay mo, ayan siya. So, what I can say in conclusion is no, information security is sort of an illusion these days. So, mas maganda na lang yung gawin, gumawa ka ng sangkatutak na profile, tapos check mo kung alin yung unang mag-tip.
Yes. Okay. Opo. Thank you, Ate
Check mo na lang kung
Thea.
sino
Oh.
unang sumagbog.
Ayan na ha. So actually, a part of we all have this Data Privacy Act, diba, na law. We should be aware and know that na let's say, ito na nga, people know your information. And it is also their responsibility on how they will safekeep it. So, aware tayo, we may have given our full name, our information, magpapakita nga ako. Ayan, we have given our information elsewhere, mapa-LinkedIn man, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram. And sabihin natin, kung kumalat na. You cannot do anything about that. Pero the only thing that you can do is to make sure na you should present yourself legitimate. Kasi, di ba, nagkaroon ng period, etong pandemic, biglang nagkaroon ng madaming-dami accounts. Isang example yan, sa Facebook. So, ang ginagawa ng mga tao, kasi wala na silang magawa nandyan na yan. So, ang ginagawa ng mga tao, using their legitimate or only Facebook account, nagpo-post sila, guys, hindi ako to, paki-report to. So, that is what we can do. Kahit di tayo CSIT, is to present ourselves, okay, pwede kayo mag-post. This is my only and only one account. If you have seen other poster accounts, fake accounts, please report it. That is one thing that you can do. Okay, so magbabasa na ako. So, sabi ni Stella, ang share niya is, same, kaso kailangan full name sa FB para online class. Ha 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 ha. Ayan, daming ha ha. O, tama yan. Kaya ayun, napipilitan na lagyan ng full name. Totoo yan. Alam niyo ba kung pwede lang talaga hindi talaga pangalan talaga, pero dahil online class, yan na nga. Okay, thank you, Stella. And si Sir Raffy, if you really dig deep into the security, like you are a programmer or a developer, you must know the data privacy. Ayan na, nabanggit ko na. Like Data Privacy 2012 in cyberspace, we have called Alay ba to? Alay, English eh. If the data was leaked and that is really costly and need legal actions, yes. So, meron ding terms ang programmers and developer, which is security breach, ayan na nga, social engineering. Yun actually yung mga terms na ginagamit namin as a student and sa mga professional when it comes into data privacy, information security. So, ayan nga. So, syempre, di pa rin tayo tapos. Alam ko, meron pa, ayan na, meron pa kaisa-isa, hindi nag-share. Okay, Sir Vincent, baka naman. Hi, Sir Vincent. Good morning po. Kuya Vincent, nandiyan ka pa po ba? Maaga ulit po tayo magtatapos today. Okay, Sir Vincent, pwede niyo pong i-chat. Ayan, natatanggalin ko. Natatanggalin si Ate Thea. Okay, wait lang. Change layout ko na. Ayan. Ayan. Okay na ate. Sir Vincent. Aba, nakatulog na si Sir Vincent. Ayan. Ay, is there anyone here na interested maging hacker, white hat? Pwede niyo din itry yung mga bag bounty platforms. Ayan. From Sir Bryan. Actually, guys, if you don't know kung bakit sinabi ni Sir Bryan na may white hat, kasi there are different kinds of hackers. We have unethical and ethical hackers. So the ethical hacker is white hat. So there are many different colors. We have black hat, violet, ganun. So another topic na yon. Pero if you want daw to be a ethical hacker, Pizza Hut daw! Ay, iba na po yun, Sir Raffy. Ito naman si Sir Raffy talaga. Oh, Kuya Vincent nawala na. Okay, so, wala na po guys. Thank you so much for sharing. And I am really proud of, ayun na, Kuya Vincent. Baka naman. Sir Vincent. Na-observe ko guys na, especially sa mga kasama ko din last session, unti-unti na kayo hindi nahihiya. Yan, keep it up guys. Huwag kayong mahiya. Ayan. Sir Vincent, hello po. Ayan, white
Hello
hat.
po.
Hi, Sir
Yes po.
Vincent. Can you show yourself po? Yes po. Hello po.
Hello po.
Ah,
Po.
okay. Sir Vincent, do you have any sharings for us today? Mga natutunan or may gusto kang i-share?
Yes po, marami pa ako natutunan regarding po sa information security like yung mga firewall na ginagamit. Marami pong firewall na ginagamit sa market na binebenta. Yan tama po yung Sang4, yung Sophos, yung Fortinet. Yan po.
Okay, thank you po, Sir Vincent. Okay,
Kaya
ayan.
po.
Okay, yun guys. So, balik lang ako.
Yan nga lang po, additional lang po, siyempre, medyo po mahal yung mga firewall na, especially mga hardware na firewall. Pero pwede naman po yung software na yung may free naman ng mga software na firewall, like yung PF Sense, kung narinig niyo na yun. Free po yun, pwede po gawin yan sa isang computer lang po para ma-install yung mga software firewall po. Yan po.
Okay. Thank you, Sir Vincent. Ayan. Okay. So, guys, okay, I'm back here again. So, thank you. Thank you na marami. I value your time, like always. I value your time. And from what I am always saying na let's help others learn. So, yun nga, maraming hindi nakasama sa ating session today. So, dapat 42. So, if you know anyone na interested in learning information security, so please feel free to share your newfound knowledge. You can find I will upload din yung recorded session natin. So, di ba, yun nga, data privacy, gumawa ako sa registration, nakita nyo ng agreement. So, lahat po kayo ay nag-yes na i-record ko po itong session and i-upload sa aking YouTube channel. So, kung hindi nyo pa po nakakita, check nyo po ang aking YouTube channel. Ayan, pinapakita ni John. Atcha Abe. So, dun ko po in-upload yung session last Sunday. And gumagawa din po ako ng ibang videos na makakatulong at makaka-entertain sa mga tao. Hindi lang po about CSIT. Ayan, pinapakita ko po a different side of me, not only as a CS student. Ayan. What else? So, I just launched po, the other day, ang aking Facebook page po. If you don't know, it is at Athena Alyafe. Meron na po din ako Facebook page. So, kung gusto niyo po matuto about SQL, about SQL, about CRUD operations, aggregate functions, and database relationship, sa October 20 po, it is Tuesday, 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. Pinost ko din po siya sa aking Facebook page. Ayan, thank you, John. Pinost ko po dyan ang link. I will be teaching. I am a speaker po for a webinar series sa AMA Computer College, Caloocan. I will be teaching about SQL. And last na po, dami kong plug, no? And last na po, eto na, next Sunday po, sadly, ang huli ko pong online peer mentoring session, it is same time po, 10 a.m. to 12 noon. It is about database systems. Yung ituturo ko po sa Tuesday, iba po siya sa ituturo ko sa Sunday. So, sa Tuesday po, it is more on the programming side. Sa next sa 25 naman po, October 25, it is more on a lecture tulad din nung nangyari po today. It is more about the database system, what are the database, different databases. So, ayun po siya. Magkaiba po siya. And, ayun po, paulit-ulit ako. Pero I'm really thankful po talaga sa inyo sa pagbigay ng time niyo po sa dito ngayon. And we all know it is a Sunday. Happy weekend po. And maaga po tayo matatapos ngayon. Very thank you po talaga. Hintayin nyo na lang po yung high resolution video sa aking YouTube channel. Kung malabo po, di talaga ako titigil mag-plug ng YouTube. Please support me naman. Pero ayun po, thank you po talaga. And before we end po, picture taking po. Ayan. At yan, photographer. Picture taking po. On na po ang camera. Wait lang, mag-signal ka naman, Mars. Wait lang. Sabihin mo kung go na.
Wala ka pa eh.
Ay, nga pala. Ako pala ang mala. Ay, sorry. Ayan. Waki naman, Waki. Thank you so much. Kung hindi po kayo registered for next Sunday, email nyo na lang po ako para ibigay ko po sa inyo yung link. Ingat kayo, guys. Pahinga na mabuti. Bye. Ingat.
Thank you.
Sure. You're welcome po. Bye, guys. God bless po. Bye. Pwede na po kayo mag-leave. Bye. Ingat.